Good evening and welcome to Decision Point. I'm Ben Swan. If you were with us last week, then you know that we are finishing up a series talking with Holocaust survivors here in El Paso. Last week you heard the first part of David Kaplan's story. David, who lives here in El Paso now, grew up in Lithuania and underwent the Holocaust there as a young child. Today, the second part of that interview.
And we end up in Germany in a small town, Landsberg. Landsberg is a very historical place.
Your mother and your sister were left there.
Left there. I didn't know what was going to happen to them. I didn't know. Now I know a little bit more, but then I didn't know nothing. We arrived in Landsberg, Landsberg where Hitler wrote his book, My Kampf, My Struggle. He stayed in jail there in Landsberg. And in this town, outside, they made some barracks made of paper, honest to God, round ones. Looked like, they call it the Pilsen in German. This is mushrooms. Covered up, made compressed paper. And each one, about 60 people in each house, round. It was made out of big hole. Cold inside, raining. Landsberg is the rains a lot. But this belongs to Dachau. You heard about Dachau. The main Dachau, there's a town next to Munich, they call it Dachau. In Dachau, there's a big concentration camp. And this, where I arrived, this was a Dachau camp, a satellite of Dachau. There was 10 of them. I was in the first one, they call number 1, the one. And then they had number 2, number 3, different kind. But we stayed here. And there was they already had people. Well, they brought them from, I think with their accent, but I remember they were Hungarians and Jewish people. They gave them sticks and they was beating up everybody there. Hurry up here, hurry up here. And this was the worst thing I ever saw. So bad it was. And they fed us so little. And people, in the morning, we went to sleep. In the beginning, before they took us to work, in the beginning, some went to sleep and didn't wake up because didn't have enough food, nothing. And then, about a week later, they marched us. There was a factory where they built a big bunker factory to make airplane parts. And they took me to unload cement from the wagons. And I was a young boy then. I think it was already 14 years old. And we unloaded cement. And the cement it was wet, cold, wet. The powder cement got in your nose, and then you pull out from the nose this hard cement, and you get infections, and it was, people died there like flies. We didn't have the tattoos like some concentration camp. They made tattoos. We didn't have, only we had a number, and I had a number, a triangle, and they give us clothing with stripes. Your head, your pants, and the blanket was made of paper, condensed paper. And the way they built the buildings was we slept on the floor, and they made a channel in the middle. This way you can lay down. Then water got into the bottom part. We never dried out. They didn't give us clothing. And 1 week I turned around the shirt, and next week I turned back. And the food was so little. And that little oven we had there. And something else was happening. Where, I don't know, lice. Epidemic lice was so bad. I used to take off my shirt against the oven and kill the lice. But it was so many able to sleep at night. Not enough food. People, we used to go there, get to work, come back, and there was somebody dead already. In the morning when we wake up, there was dead people. And there was a situation, I met one doctor. He was a Hungarian specialist. Near here, a nose, And he spoke some, he didn't speak, Jewish people had a language, they call it Yiddish. It's a German dialect. He didn't speak this language, he speaks some German. And he told me, look, he said, you're a young man, he said. He was next to me, sleeping there next to me. He said, I'm Jewish. I was married to a Gentile lady. I was the head doctor of Budapest. He said, what happened to everybody? We don't have vegetables. We have nothing. You get a little cold, you die. He said, take some, what do you call this from the trees fall down? I remember.
Pine cones.
Pine cones, put in water, cook it, because we had able to boil some water. And let cook it. And this water comes out from the pine what?
Pine cones.
Cones. It got vitamins. Drink it. And this will keep you alive. And I did. And there was another guy next to me. He was drinking the same one. But a month later, I find out that this doctor died because he was able to take it. He told me that when he's going to liberate it, he's going to go to Palestine, no more in Budapest, because he was so upset how he was mistreated. Fine, fine doctor.
So you kept on carrying the cement from them.
And I kept on carrying the cement. And there was a guy, a Lithuanian leader. He looks at me and he calls me. He saw I'm a young boy, you know, he said, come here. I need somebody to, he lived outside the concentration camp. He had a little box, and he had his bed, and he was in charge to send all the workers work different places. And he said, you come in and work for me. I want you to clean up, make a fire, warm up the place. You sleep here too, somewhere. And he had some food, he had some. See, they liked him. The Germans liked him very much. He was very powerful. And they gave him a package of tobacco, a whole luggage. But it was not tobacco, the stick of the tobacco, grounded up, they call this, the Russian calls it, they call it the name for this. I forgot the name of it. It's a long time. Maruka, okay. And he had this, and then he had butter, he had bread, but he never offered me. And I used to get a very little piece. Then when he used to go out, and I have to clean up his place, and there was so cold there. Then I took some butter and put off my piece of bread. He used to make a mark. Every time he took something, he made a mark. But I took the butter, put on the bread, what I ate, and I cut this piece of bread too, and I make the same mark what he did. And you know, the butter melts, and it's cold outside. Then I warmed up the butter, and I put some water, then the butter went a little bit higher. This doesn't show that I used it. And I made the same mark what he did. And believe it or not, this kept me alive. I used to come in and I cleaned, but he never said, take some bread or take some, oh no. But I saw a German, and the German said to me, you know where I can get tobacco? Do you? I said, yes. I got this, I forgot the name. I got this grounded up. He said, show me. What I did, I took the package. He had a lot of packages closed up. I took a little nail, opened up, and shaked it out. You know, I made a little package, then put it back, and I showed the German. This I got. He said, "How much you want?" I said, "How much bread you got?" I'll give him, said, 3 slices. I said, okay. I gave him the tobacco, and he gave me 3 slices of bread. Believe it or not, after I think 8 months, 6 months. Each package used to have 100 grams of tobacco, weight maybe 10 grams. Yeah, but this kept me alive, honestly. In wartime, you cannot be completely, I don't think it's stealing, I think it's survival. because otherwise I'm dead.
What about your brother?
Yeah, my brother, he was so sick, and his feet got so swollen up. He wasn't able to walk, and they put him at different kind of place, and they didn't feed him enough. And I didn't see him enough because I was working in another place. He was there. Every time I remember him, it drives me crazy. He was a very nice young man, very fine brother. But he was so sick. And then one time I saw him, how are you doing? Shlomo, his name was. He said, they didn't feed me 3 days. And I don't think I had left over what I used to get. The moment I used to get the bread, I used to eat it. I did nothing. And I wasn't able to find them there because you come in, you're under guard constantly. Then I heard that he did not survive, he died. Because he was so sick, able to walk. The heart affects the water in the lungs and water in your knees. And he died. Still have a problem with this. And he died. And my sister, my mother, I do nothing.
So eventually the American soldiers got...
Okay, let me tell you what happened, yeah. One day, on the 22nd of April, 1945, a Nazi came into our concentration camp. We were gathered around, but the main chief, main of the Nazis, take a chair, stand up, and he said in German, I said, my Herrschaften means, you gentlemen. They never called us gentlemen, always called us all dirty names. We're gonna leave this camp, marching to Switzerland, and we're gonna exchange you for German soldiers. We knew it's a lie, you know, but he said, and you're gonna walk at night, and daytime you're gonna sleep. And take only the blanket, don't take too many things because you're not allowed to do it. In the morning, we marched. Then 2 days. They didn't feed us, they told us they're going to give us the food because we marched the way to Dachau, the main camp, Dachau, which is by Munich. And this was Landsberg, it's about 40 kilometers. The first 2 days was not so bad because everybody was strong enough. We arrived in concentration camp in Dachau. They didn't let us sleep. We slept on the floor. American planes were running around and bombing around the Dachau. We bombed in Dachau. They didn't do it. And next day, we went for march. They fed us, I think it was 100 gram bread. It's nothing, and water. They fed us this bread, and we marched away to Tyrol, which is Bad Tölz. A lot of people they took some more Russians, some Polish, and different kind prisoners that stayed in Dachau. We were about 22,000, I think, altogether. 22,000. And they were wild, the Polish and the Russians. They said, take your piece of bread and steal from you, or beat you up and take away from you. And we marched, and on the way, prisoner fall down in the back, they shot him. We arrived in a small town by Bad Tölz. There was mountains, was snow. Even this was already, and we arrived, this was the 1st of May, 1945. It was snowing. We went to lay down with the blanket, and we waked up in the morning. There was so much snow. And there was no guard. No guard at all. They ran away. They knew that it's over. The war is more or less going to be over. And I saw a dead horse not far away from me. And I made myself, because I was a shoemaker, I made myself a knife to be able to cut something. And I cut a piece, he was dead, no? A piece of horse meat. And I put a piece in water, and I put the Germans left some fire, and I put there, and I made a soup of horse meat. You don't believe it how delicious it was. When you're so hungry, you know, horse meat and soup was, I didn't need it, sold nothing, but it was so delicious. And then comes a German, Volkswagen, with a German soldier, tall man, comes out, and there was everybody confused, didn't know what to do. He said, look, I'm not SS, I am from the Wehrmacht. Wehrmacht is a regular soldier. The American people are an hour and a half away, armed soldiers, let's call it the army, hour and a half away. There's some farmers, go hide yourself, this way nobody's gonna kill you there. Go to farmers' houses, hide yourself, everybody, and the Americans gonna be hour and a half. We went there and I saw raw potatoes, I ate raw potatoes, I did everything. But you're hungry, you're like an animal. You're no more human, you cannot think no more. I had professors, doctors there, famous people who was with big concentration camp. They were able to think, nothing. Brothers and sisters together don't exist. You're on your own, everybody's on your own. And your mind is all things about food. And then we went there, and there came the American army. Come out, and everybody ran out of the places. And they started to kiss each other, hug each other, the prisoners. And I went, sat down in the corner like here. What am I going to do next?
And these American soldiers were?
Black people.
They were African-American?
Afro-American, yeah. Then was black, now it's Afro-American. And they cried with us. Honestly, they saw how we were mistreated. And there was so
You had
dirty.
never seen a black man in your life?
No, I never saw black men. They looked, I was afraid for some of them, honestly. I hate to say it because I always, Lithuania was no such a thing, Chinese people or Japanese people or Spanish people. You never saw it. Most of them are blonde, you know. Jewish people are a little bit darker. But this way they can recognize Jewish people there from Lithuanian people. Even the Jewish people are Lithuanian somewhere. But they look different. Lithuanian people are very tall people. Women are very pretty and tall, 6 feet tall. High, you know. Now they look better to me, but then I was very upset with them. And I'll tell you what happened to me. I sat down and said, now I'm going to forgive everybody. I like to go on with my life. Meantime, I saw somebody shot 3 Germans. I said, why the killing now? War is over. Let's forget. Let's forgive. I thought in my mind. And I did forgive everybody. I was criticized why I forgive. I wrote a book, see, says I forgive everybody. I forgive, you know, because I say in the bad part. Even they killed my parents and they killed everybody. But I forgive him and let's go on with my life. And this what, now it's already what, 65 years ago. And I live a beautiful life because I forgive him. And if you people see somebody you don't like, forgive him. If it's better for you, not for them. Thank you. You want some questions or something, please?
How old are you now?
Okay, I'm in the big 80.
80? You made it.
Yeah. And I'm still working, huh? I'm not retired yet. When I'll be 100, maybe I'm going to retire. I was successful in El Paso. I came to El Paso in 1949. As a young man, I was 19. And I had a hard time to get a job because they paid you $15 a week then. It was not big money you made. But I started to paddle and sell, and I'm a businessman.
And then they drafted you and sent you the
Oh
Korea?
yeah, Uncle Sam drafted me. Meantime, I went to Mexico. I said before, they called me and they gave me 6 months to prepare myself. And I had a little business. I used to paddle, I used to sell shoes and sell house to house, knocking doors on credit. Then I sold it to Richard Bernard Furniture, was my friend. I sold him my company it was, not too much money. And I went to Mexico. And I had some faraway family. I mean, it was a cousin of a cousin of a cousin. And there I saw the guy, he was partners with this family. He said, I want you to introduce you to my first cousin. I said, I'm not looking for girls here. No, I want to meet her. I made it introduce me. There was a tall, little, chubby girl. She was 16. I didn't pay attention. I didn't came to get married in Mexico. Then she told me, you know, it's her birthday next day. It was a Sunday. I said, I'll send her flowers. I didn't want to pay attention. Who wants to get involved? The worst thing I ever did, send flowers to a girl. They invited me to their house. Her mother fed me, and she's a good cook, and I never left this house. Now we are married 57 years. 4 children, 6 grandchildren. My oldest son is 57, going to be 58. And my granddaughter is already 30 years old. All 4 children are college graduated. Some are business people. My grandchildren, I got 6. 3 are graduated from college. 1 is an industrial engineer in Israel. One of my sons went to live to Israel. He got a master in economics. He has 2 children. 1 is an engineer, electronic engineer, which he wanted to be like me. I'm a businessman, but I'm electronically involved, and I'm a computer programmer. And he wanted to be like me, poor guy. Now he volunteered to Africa in the Ivory Coast, and they're going to work there for a month, teach him English, and use a computer. And my granddaughter, she's 30 years old. She's got a master in industrial engineer. And my other grandson, the 3rd one, he is in college in St. Edward University. He wants to be a real estate man, which I do real estate. And my 3rd one is 18 years old, so he wants to be a teacher. And then I got 2 more. One is 16, good-looking, tall, 6 feet 2 inches tall. And my granddaughter, she's 5'6", I think. And I'm the shortest one in the family. And thank you for listening to me.
Any questions for Mr. Kaplan?
Go ahead.
What is your wife's name?
Tita. Eugenia, they call her, but her nickname is Tita. Typical Mexican name. Eugenia. Yes?
You've been through a lot in your life. Is there anything that scares you still? Like,
Oh,
even after you...
I'll tell you. What's your name?
Brenda?
Brenda, look, Brenda. When I told you before, I sat down and I said, I'm going to forgive everybody what did wrong. You don't believe it, how good it did for me. Because sometimes I used to be upset about something. I said, no, I promised I'll forgive everybody. And even with my wife, we have a disagreement. We don't have too many. Thanks God, I don't have too many. But if I have, right away it goes me, I forgive everybody. I have to forgive it too. And I start again like nothing happened. It's very important. It's need forgive not because of for them, for yourself. Samuel?
You served in the Korean War?
Huh?
You served in the Korean War? When you were drafted?
Yeah, I was drafted after I got married, had a child. They called me, and in Fort Bliss I got drafted. I came back to Fort Bliss. I was 2 years in the army. I was a cook, first cook I was. I became a sergeant, but I was in charge of the kitchen, 2,000 people. And I did a good job there, I think. And I liked it. It was hard in the beginning, basic training. Yeah, but the Korean War was on, but they never sent me away.
So you stayed here in El Paso?
I stayed in El Paso. Stayed in Mexico, but then in El Paso, I never left. I got drafted in El Paso. I got discharged in El Paso. And went for a short time to Mexico. Yeah, go ahead.
Why did you come to El Paso?
Why I came?
Yes.
Okay. When everything was over, they had maybe about 300 refugees. And some signed up to go to Israel. Some signed up to go to America. I signed up to go to America. Not just I want to stay in Germany, honestly. I want to stay in Germany because I learned a profession. I'm an electronic mechanic, let's call it what you want to do. I used to wind motors and fix elevators and went to school there in a community college. And I became good what I knew. I was a good mechanic, and I said, I'm going to make a shop here, and I can stay in Germany. And then comes a lady, my mother's friend, and she says, what you doing here? I said, oh, I got a girlfriend. I had a girlfriend, German girlfriend then. And I have a good job. I'm going to go business for myself, and I want to stay in Germany. You crazy, she started to yell to me. There's a lot of blood. I said, no, I have nothing against nobody. Look, leave this place, go to America, going to be much better for you. Meantime, I had a little fight with my girlfriend, okay? A disagreement, let's call it. And she wanted me to become a Catholic, which I took some classes. I did get educated Catholic. But I didn't go through. And she was not happy about it. And she lied to me. And okay, then I signed up to go. Believe it or not, I signed up. I lived in a small town by Werreshofen. It's not far away from Augsburg or Munich. It's a small place, very, very nice place to live. And I signed up to Augsburg. It's about 30 kilometers of Bad Werreshofen. And I signed up, and right away, 2 days later, they called me. They have to see the doctor because they check you for tuberculosis, all kind of sickness. I passed, and they said a week later, get ready, you're going to Bremerhaven in Germany. It's by Hamburg, not far away from Hamburg. I went there, and they told me I got papers. They're going to send me to St. Joe's, Missouri. St. Joe's, then I sent my luggage, because I had a lot of German books and electronics, because I used to fix radios and wind motors, and I had maybe about 100 books. And I sent it there. Then I arrived in Bremen, and then we took the ship and went to New Orleans. In New Orleans, they checked my papers. They told me, you're not going to St. Joe's, Missouri. St. Joe's, Missouri is by the not far away from the capital, where the capital from Missouri is. I don't know. I'm not too far away from it. And I arrived in New Orleans. In New Orleans, they told me, you are going to El Paso.
Well, that is our program for tonight. We thank all of our guests over the past few weeks who have shared their incredible stories and how they survived one of the darkest periods in world history. If you've been watching these with us and you would like to get a copy of these interviews for yourself, you can contact us at the number on your screen. That's KSCE TV, or go to our website at kscetv.com. Have a great night, and God bless you.